In this video, I'm going to give you 5 things I love about my transit camper conversion. I'm going to give you 5 things I wish I'd done differently throughout the build. And if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to give you 5 tips that you cannot be without. Number 1's easy for me. This step, absolutely fantastic. Great for getting on and off the bed, and of an evening when Kobe's bed is out, I can just put his water on here and he can use it as a drinking station. I've seen other people with little pull-out stools and stuff. Great until you lose it or it breaks or you leave it at home, and then what you're left with is a huge sort of thing for people to try and clamber up. And for me it's okay, I'm over 6 foot, but for people that are a lot smaller, that step is essential. So if you can get one of those built into your bed front, do. Number 2, we undenied about this for a while, but it's this swivel table. When I'm sat here of an evening, I sit like this and I can have this table here with my laptop on and I can edit away, drinks and stuff up here. Couldn't be without it. Whoever's sat on the sofa, if we've both got dinner, we can share it and both eat our dinner on this. But we undenied about this. You can get expensive legs, you can get cheap ones. This was about 50 odd quid, about a third of the price of the expensive ones, and this has been absolutely fantastic. There'll be a link down below where you can get this from. Coming in at number 3, as Kobe is perfectly demonstrating, is the swivel base for the seats. Now, these seats open up the space like you would not believe. It completely transformed the build. I undenied about whether to get these or not, because they were, I think they were about 370 odd quid. So I was like, oh, can I really justify that? And then the time fit in it as well. But honestly, it's been an absolute game changer. Could not have been without them. It's just left, if there's 2 of us in the van, someone can have the sofa, I can just lay on here, the dog's got somewhere to sit. So yeah, number 3, the swivel base. Number 4, slight curveball, is the insulation on the floor. Now this is Celotex, foil wrap, foil tape, basic to do, but a game changer in itself. Insulating the walls is great, but there's cold spots. You get thermal heat loss through windows, through joins, through gaps. But as long as you've got a good solid insulated floor, you'll find that the van actually holds heat so much better, and it's just nice on foot as well. You don't have that freezing cold feel on your foot. So yeah, number 4, curveball. Probably not going to hear it on any other channels, but insulate your floor well, insulate your walls, but really concentrate on that floor. Number 5, projector. So this thing is absolutely fantastic. When we're in bed, we can watch all of the best shows. That's me on the telly. Mum, look, I made it. But no, we can watch all the best shows on there. As long as you've got 4G signal on your phone, you can literally hook it up to anything. You can mirrorcast it from your phone. So, oh, Kobe, chill out, dude. I'll be with you in a second. He's scared because the screen's up. So yeah, get yourselves a projector. Details will be below. In the summer, oh, someone just walked their dog past. In the summer, I'm going to project onto the actual awning itself and do a bit of gaming. So I'm going to make some videos on that as well. So make sure you watch out for those. Okay, so now I want to talk to you a little bit about 5 things I would have changed or wish I had have done differently during the build. Let's start off right back at the beginning. When I bought the van, I was toying between a long wheelbase and a medium wheelbase. The main concerns I had about a long wheelbase were the extra weight and parking / storing the van. Now looking back, I think I made the wrong decision buying a medium wheelbase, and I would have bought a long wheelbase had I have known. Now the main reason for that is, as you can see above my right shoulder, the shower is external. It's great as well if I want to just rinse the dog off after he's covered in mud. But going forward, I think I'm going to buy a long wheelbase van and convert that and have the shower room internally with one of those bullfinch external connections for hosing the dog off and just washing stuff outside. Being sat in the garage like this leads me nicely on to number 2. Now, number 2 on the list of things I wish I had have done differently is the water tank. So I have a 60 litre water tank mounted here, and then I have a hot water calorifier below it, which is a 19 litre. Going forward, I don't think 60 litres is enough. So I am going to put a 100 litre underslung tank on the next build. So my advice to you would be to get as much capacity of water in your build as possible. You have to take weight into consideration and the actual size of the storage tank itself. But if you've got the room and you're not too concerned by weight or fuel consumption, definitely go for more water because you don't have to fill it right up. Number 3 on the list of things I wish I'd changed about the van. I think I'm too far in with this now to change this, and it's not a huge problem at the moment, but I feel like it may well be a problem. So this fan gets really, really warm. Even with the 2 kilowatt heater on minimum, this is just so toasty. In the Highlands in Scotland, when it was -10 outside, not when the diesel heater broke because that was freezing, but when it actually worked, it was so hot in here. And you don't want to have the window there open because it's quite a big safety risk. We were wild camping a lot, so anyone could just put their hand through and open the door. So what I think I'm going to do on the next build is put some tiny little ventilation windows in the back, or maybe in the side here in the flares, or inbuilt foot head areas. We've got the roof fan, which does work and it ventilates absolutely fine. But with that on, you really need a window open too, so that you can draw that air through, whether you want cold air in the summer or just a bit of ventilation. It's okay when you're cooking to have that window open because you're fine, you're awake, no one's going to break in, it's good. And the fan on because it draws that draft through and it's nice and you won't die of CO poisoning. But I think just to get rid of some heat in the summer, and I'm heading to France in 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm starting to think maybe if it's a bit warm down there, I would have done better with some windows up here. So something for you to consider during your build is definitely, do you need ventilation windows at the back somewhere? Now, coming in at number 4 may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, and this may not affect you if you don't have a swivel base for your seats. But of an evening when I'm sat here editing, there's spotlights in the main van, but stupidly, I didn't put any lights here. So this is just pitch black, this area, because the windscreen and the seats themselves are blocked off with the thermal insulated blinds. And this just is a real dark spot. So I've got wiring here, which you can probably see when we're filming the driving shots anyway, that I can tap into. So I am actually going to cut a couple of little spotlights with their own switch into here. So annoying that I didn't do it at the beginning. Don't make that mistake. If you've got a swivel base, make sure you've got lights at the front. One of my biggest regrets is coming in at number 5 because I'm still not going to buy the thing I'm about to talk to you about just because of the price. I'm going to continue doing what I've done, but one of my biggest regrets is not buying an expensive diesel heater off the bat, and I should have done that. I should have bitten the bullet. Not buying it allowed me to buy other things, which I'm really grateful for, but if you've got the money, buy an expensive diesel heater, not a Chinese one. This one packed up at the worst possible time. It was -10, snowstorm, up a mountain, freezing cold, and it packed up. So yeah, see you later, dude. So yeah, get yourselves an expensive diesel heater. Don't do what I did. Get a good one. But now that I've already bought the cheap one, you know, I can buy 5 or 6 of these for the same price as an expensive one. So I am now in the, I'm basically in a PCP deal that I can't get out of with cheap diesel heaters. I'm going to present this bit from the sofa because I was trying to find new places to film every time and the sofa got neglected. So we're on the sofa for this one. We now move on to 5 tips that I hope you find really useful and hopefully you didn't already know. Now, because this is YouTube, make sure you stay till the end and I'll share my best tip and blah, blah, blah. But on a serious note, do stay till the end because I need the watch time and you won't get a more honest review than this. Stay till the end and I will share my best tip at the end. I also find it quite funny. It's quite a funny tip. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So number 1, and a lot of people oversee this, is turning your main gas bottle off when you drive, when you're on a ferry, when you're on a Eurostar. The reason for this is any sort of movement can crack or pull the fittings apart and then you end up with a gas leak. And in relation to this, make sure you have a CO alarm as well for when you're cooking. Some people, you'll be surprised at how many people don't open a window or have the ventilation fan on when they're cooking. Number 2, forcing things in place when they don't want to be forced in place will break them. Don't do it. I have to admit I've broken something by doing this. So I've learned from my mistakes. Don't do this. If you've got something that you're trying to shut, open, move, turn, and it won't, there is a reason for it not doing that. So I broke, just turn this around. I broke the gaiter to the handbrake trying to turn the swivel base when I was having a strop. When I was having a strop and it was freezing cold, I was tired and fatigued. I just wanted it back in place so we could go. And I was really given it some, and then the gator snapped off. Thankfully, that's not an issue mechanically in the van, and it's just an aesthetic issue, but it's still annoying, and it's a good example of things that break when you force them. So don't force anything. My third tip, again, I really hope you haven't heard this, because this is actually something I'm so glad I did, and not many people have. Or in fact, I don't think I've heard anyone say this. So what you get is, I'm going to turn this around again. With your display panels and your switchboards and all of your USB sockets, they have blue LEDs on. And in the middle of the night, there's blue LEDs everywhere. And I can't tell you the amount of van tours I have seen where I can just see blue glowing everywhere. And I don't like any light when I'm asleep. So for me, having blue lights would just drive me mad. So when you're doing the build, try and, unless you like lights on, try and conceal all USB socket switchboards in cupboards or out of sight under somewhere, because those lights, they might not look much now, but at 2 a.m. they're just so bright. It's like having the moon in the van. So yeah, tip number 3, hide USBs and LEDs at night or in general. What we got here then? Hey, have you been a good boy? You watching Daddy film? He's trying to get some followers so that you can pay for your leg operations. This is going all X Factor now. I've got a sub story and everything. Number 4, how exciting. We're very close to number 5, and you've made it almost to the end, which means I'm sort of bearable. So thank you very much for that, much appreciated. Number 4 is get yourself some wind deflectors on the front of the van. Now, this may be very underwhelming for you to hear, thinking, oh, we're at tip number 4 and all he's saying is wind deflectors. But I promise you, not only do they help with fuel efficiency, not only is it great of an evening in the van when you're not driving, you can have the front window slightly open in the pouring rain and the rain doesn't get in, but you still get a bit of fresh air in. Wind deflectors are a must. Make sure you put them on. You can get these really cheap. Some of them stick on, some of them push on. Here is mine. Do yourself a favour, get some wind deflectors by dog. Well done for making it to number 5. So my 5th tip, and not only is it a tip, it is also the law, but it just makes me laugh because if you're wild camping and or camping on a premises that isn't privately owned, you are not allowed to drink alcohol while you're in your camper van because you're in possession of your keys, which means you're in possession of a motor vehicle. So if you're thinking of getting drunk or partying whilst wild camping, think again.